Gokulananda, ladies and gentlemen, I extend my warm welcome to all of you for this beautiful evening. I think most of us are tense and stressed during our day and during doing all the activities what we do. Why we feel tense and stressed? It's just because of a competition. We feel we are competing with ourselves and everybody around us. Competition is there not only in a profession or only in business. If you see, competition is there between brothers, and I would put it in the nearest relationship between brother and sister, or even between husband and wife. And that competition keeps us always tense mentally. So today's topic is the hottest for us, and I would like to tell you that even in science research, scientific medical scientists are researching how mind is related to the body. Western world has started examining this, while in India this subject has been studied for thousands of years, Swamiji. Nobody can maintain healthy body without understanding the intricate mechanism of the operation of his own mind. According to Swami Parthasarathi, life is full of experience. Life itself is experience. Quality and quantity of experience determine the nature of life. If experience is happy, we feel happy. If we feel dullness around us and we are experiencing dullness, we feel life is full dull. If we feel there is a lot of dynamism or a lot of things happening, we feel life is really dynamic. If we feel that things are not moving the way we think, we feel very unhappy and life is very unhappy. Therefore, to bring change in your life, you need to change your experience. This is what you have to adopt, and when you confront with the tension and worries. Today's topic will this throw a very important light on this subject, and I think all of us will go mentally stress-free and relax, and will adopt that advice of Swamiji from today itself. Swamiji joined Ramakrishna order in 1954. Before that, he mastered in philosophy from Calcutta University in 1950, and then served in various capacity at Belur Ramakrishna Mission, and he served even in tribal areas of Kansi Hills in Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh before joining mission in Delhi. Swamiji wrote 4 books in English. Some of the books like Some Guidelines to Inner Life, Our Holy Trinity, Swami Vivekananda, Ideal for the Youth, and How to Overcome Mental Tension. Some books were published in Russian, Portuguese, French, and Spanish. Swamiji is a widely traveled person to USA, Canada, UK, France, Finland, Germany, and many other countries. Swamiji is a very leading saint of mission, and we are very much thankful to you, sir, for coming here, and we are very thankful to Ramakrishna Center of Ahmedabad and especially Neha Desai for arranging this program. May I request Swamiji to address us. Before that, I would like to welcome him.
Give them idea.
Okay, sure.
Not only us. our beloved brother Gokulananda ji, head of our center in Rajkot, Mr. Rajiv Bastupal, president of this prestigious Ahmedabad Management Association, Mr. G. Jadia, estimadas and friends. How I am here today, this evening, that I would like to tell you. Few days back, I received a telephonic call from Gokulananda, head of a center in Rajkot. Maharaj, you have to come to Rajkot. And why? Your book, Some Guidelines to Inner Life, which has been already translated into more than 13 languages. Now we have got the Gujarati version of the same book ready. And we'll be very happy if you kindly come all the way from Delhi and release it in our center in Rajkot. Prior to that, we have known each other for many, many years. And recently, when he took over charge of the Rajkot center, I promised him that as and when an opportunity comes, you invite, I will certainly make it. I will try to come there. So I am here. But when this program was conveyed to me over the phone, little did I know that I have to come and address you on this subject. Now this subject, how to overcome mental tension, is a very favorite subject of mine. And I have given talks on these in different parts of India as well as outside India. So when this invitation was extended to me, and Swamiji said that you have to spare on evening for us, for the devotees and friends of Ahmedabad. I am very thankful to the Swami and to the President and to our sister and to all of you. Well, a little while ago when I was giving a talk on the same subject, from the audience a question was put to me, what made you write this book, How to Overcome Mental Tension? And I gave some examples. It is the duty, whoever becomes the president or the secretary of Delhi mission, he has to give a talk every Sunday. As you are well aware that Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj, our last president, during his time all the present developments came in the Delhi center, the temple, the auditorium, he brought Jawaharlal Nehru and all that. So that is the tradition. The head of center has to give a talk, and we give talks on Gita. But often I receive telephonic calls from the devotees. Swami, you have to come and you have to give time. We are coming, husband and wife, we have some problems and they have to be sorted out. And as he was telling, the tension and competitive spirit and all that, even husband, wife and so many things. So that was the beginning. Then I announced publicly that in place of my Sunday talk on Bhagavad Gita, from next Sunday, I will take up a new series, How to Overcome Mental Tension. And all that I spoke extempo. Fortunately, these were taped, then audited, and then brought out in the form of a book by Swami Lokeshwaranji Maharaj, who was the head of a prestigious international center, Gold Park, Kolkata. We invited him all the way from Kolkata to come to Delhi and to release the book in the prestigious Siri Fort Auditorium of Delhi. So that was the beginning. Hardly we come across a person who is always calm, collected and composed. Swami Vivekananda in one place said, the calmer we are, the less disturb our nerves, and the better our walk shall be. The calmer we are. Well, this subject of tension or stress, it would be enough if we say this is indeed a century of stress and strain. So much so, the government of India published or brought out a stamp, postal stamp, with the caption, avoid tension. Well, often devotees come to me and say, Swamiji, we want to lead a very relaxed life. I want to be efficient. But I find that even if I work at a tremendous pace for 8 hours, the work does not get completed. As a result, I work sometimes faster and longer, and which causes great tension. And sooner or later I find myself going to pieces over small things, and that causes terrible irritation to me. Incidentally, I will tell you that this book is available in our sales counter here. Outside we have displaced. And the book begins with the actual story of a doctor and a patient. The patient was a busy executive. He would work many hours a day, but every day he will bring lots of files to his residence. And along with lots of files, he will bring lots of tension. So much so that there was no peace in the family. Husband, wife, 2 children, the children were growing up. And because the husband was suffering from tension, there were lots of irritation. And one day the wife told the husband that this way things cannot go on. Children are growing up, sometimes we quarrel, lots of misunderstanding. What example we are giving to our children? So I want that to get you examined by a psychiatrist. Initially the husband protested, why should I go to a doctor, psychiatrist? But the wife did not agree. The story goes that one day she summoned up all courage, went to a psychiatrist, sought an appointment for her husband and came and said to her husband, now you have to go. And fortunately the husband agreed. And thus husband and wife came to a psychiatrist. Before that, the wife briefed the psychiatrist why she was bringing the husband, because the husband was suffering from really tension, terrible tension. Doctor told the husband, since you have come to me, you are a patient, I know why you have come to me. I will see to it that you become free from all kinds of tension. But you have to give this understanding that whatever I will say, you must listen to me, you must give me a patient hearing, and you should not interrupt me. And of all the prescriptions, the doctor said, I know that you have a very busy, hectic schedule, that's why you are being almost shattered to pieces. I would advise that at least 2 days a week, Sunday all get off day, but Saturday and Sunday off, no work. And of all the 2 days, at least 1 day you earmark when you will go to a graveyard. And when doctor said that you will go to a graveyard, immediately the husband reacted. And the doctor said, what was the understanding? That you should not react, you should not interfere. Then he begged pardon, continue. He said, why I asked you to go to a graveyard? The reason is that you should go to a graveyard and there you should meditate over the supreme fact of death. That there are many people like you who are alcoholic and they are buried under the stones. So one day you die, you will meet with the same fate, but the work will continue. So why take all the load on yourself? Try to relegate your powers, try to relegate your duties, and I assure you that you will be free from all tension. Fortunately, the patient got the clue. From them, he started distributing, relegating his powers and duties, and he was free from all tension. Peace returned to the family, and the husband was grateful. Husband was grateful to the wife that ultimately she took to the psychiatrist. I am now referring to another couple, a busy executive, that is also, the example is given here. Very busy lives, but no tension, always smiling. Now there are persons you find in the world, once you go to him, you feel like going to him again and again. They have some charm, magnetic personality. And there are persons who always irritate, no, you like to avoid, no use going. So this couple live such an exemplary life, though they are householders, not monks or nuns, that they would always radiate peace, peaceful vibrations. You will find a serenity written in every line of the face. So one day, one person who was very close to this couple wanted to know what is the secret. And the husband and wife told, come inside our house, and took to one shrine. They made a small corner, you can say puja room like that. Our secret of leading a tension-free life, even though we are very busy, both husband and wife, is this, that we have made a pact among ourselves, husband and wife, that we must practice 15 days, 15 minutes minimum ritual. We sit in the shrine room, either we read from the Bhagavad Gita or some holy book, and in our own way we do some silent meditation, and that is the secret. Swami Vivekananda in one place said that apparently those who are present here in this room now, I am reminded of what Swamiji said while giving his talk on Jnana Yoga in the West. In Jnana Yoga, Swami Vivekananda said about the man the apparent and man the real. Now I am looking at you, you are looking at me. So in each one of us there is the divine spark. From the ultimate standpoint, we are all spirits eternally free, birthless, deathless. We are not just these small tiny creatures, mind-body complexes. One day we die and will be reduced to ashes, but there is something in us which is birthless and deathless. It is only through meditation, I quote Vivekananda again, that we are divested of a limited, finite nature. Then we are in communion with our real divine self. And that gives us tremendous strength through meditation. Once Swamiji was asked, why should I meditate? What is the benefit of meditation? Swamiji said that through meditation we are conscious of the higher dimension of our life. And to quote Vivekananda, power will come, purity will come, all that is excellent will come once we are roused to our innate divine nature. So that couple said that this is the secret of our leading a tension-free life. Now everywhere we now find, if we look around, that we are so busy with the hustle and bustle of life, racing against time and ending up with tension and fatigue. A little while ago I was telling the audience I met in the morning that I would like to repeat to you because you are not present there. In 2004, in September, when I was in our Ramakrishna Vivekananda Center in New York, I was asked by my brother Swami Adisharanandaji, who is the head there now, to give a talk on the topic I am addressing you now. And there I began in another way, that is that whenever we go in a car and we see the red light, we become impatient. A human weakness. We want to see green light. When will be green light? And Delhi will find time is given in many places, say 100 seconds like that. But Delhi police has hit upon a new plan. If you go to Basant Vihar here in Delhi, you will find, only day before yesterday I found, and I was telling one of our devotees, look what the Delhi police have done. You see the red light. Now inside the red light, they write, relax in white. Relax. So the American audience, they loved, relax. Don't be impatient. So this is a common phenomenon. Now what I want to emphasize is this, that we always seem to be in a rush. We do not have even time to eat properly. Somehow we gulp down whatever we have to take, even at breakneck speed, either sitting in a revolving chair in the office or while watching television at home. What is emphasized is this, that most of us are in a very, very highly strung frame of mind all the time. Is it not a fact, let us now ponder, that most of us living in this century are tense, tired, miserable and unhappy. We suffer from so much nervous tension and stress that rightly this century has been characterized as a century of stress. Let us now enumerate the reasons for this tension in this competitive world. The first and most basic reason to my mind appears to be that we are drifting endlessly. Life has got two purposes, relative purpose and ultimate purpose. People do not care about the ultimate purpose of life. Swami Vivekananda in one sense said that if God becomes true, religion becomes true, life becomes explained, life becomes meaningful, otherwise life is but an useless burden. You ask any young boy and girl how much money you are earning, they will say 50,000 rupees per month. Sometimes the package is there. They want to want more. They leave this job, go to another job. But that will never give them happiness and contentment. So, many doctors corroborate that when we suffer from tension, we easily become slave to impatience and anger, and we fret and fume. And doctors corroborate that a person who is in a state of anger can have stroke as his heartbeat goes up from say 180 to 200 per minute. Usually we are not aware of such dire consequences. Similar is the case with certain physical ailments as headache, backache, high blood pressure and so on. Once we are aware that there is something divine in us, then we can change the situation. A person may say, I often become a victim of different kinds of emotional stress, including anger, and I realized later that I did not behave properly. Every person who loses his temper regrets the angry words he uttered by saying, I should not have behaved in that way. Now, as our rishis have said, we have infinite power within us to feel free, and we are to be convinced of this basic truth, that infinite power is within us. So long we live in darkness and depression without realizing that there is a thought switch in us. This is very important. Mark the language I have used, coining words, thought switch. Thought switch. Now, whatever you see now in this room, whatever is happening in the world or any program going on, if we have a good transistor, if we switch on a particular center, we'll get the music. But if the transistor is defective or the battery is down, we won't get. So we have to learn about this technique of this thought switch. All that we have to do is to turn it on in the right direction and get the light of happiness. There is something divine in us. Only we have to discipline ourselves to connect to that current which is the source of infinite strength. And if we can do that, ultimately we'll be free from all kinds of tension. Now, since mental tension, our subject is mental tension in a competitive world, since mental tension is the result of our activities, let us now analyze our daily routine. Our day-to-day activity can be divided in 4 different life areas. Number 1, we have our work. We go to our field of work. Secondly, we come back to our family and children. That is another aspect of life. Sometimes we go out, get an invitation from a friend to go for a picnic or a birthday party or some other special occasion. This is our social commitment. Society and friends constitute another area of life. In addition to this, there is another area, 4th area, when one has moments of leisure, such as sports, going to the club, watching television. Now, mental tension may differ in each life area. For example, some may face an excessive nervous tension during work, but very little at home to an understanding wife. Mark by like an understanding wife, understanding husband, very, very important. Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj was the last president. Once I invited him to a Delhi mission to give a talk, how to live an ideal householder's life. So when Swamiji gave a talk, in course of the talk, Swamiji mentioned about this, the necessity of an understanding husband, understanding wife. Now whenever any new couples they come for our blessings, I narrate this incident. It is very important. Sometimes they say it is very difficult to become a monk. No doubt difficult to become a monk, to resist all the temptations all the modern world has to offer. But I believe it is much more difficult to live an ideal householder's life. Ideal householder's life, mark my language. Unless there is perfect understanding between the husband and wife, Ranganathanji Maharaj would say, quoting Barnett Russell, the British philosopher, husband and wife, like billiard balls, they will collide with one another. I give one example. If there is understanding, no problem. I was in Belur College, Vidya Mandir. I was the vice principal, officiating principal. So many brilliant students came out of Belur Vidya Mandir. Some are well placed in life. One is now the governor of Nagaland, Shamal Datto, who retired as director IB. Our Bipul Bhattacharya was one of my students. He was the secretary of Mysore. They are happy. Now one IS officer with his wife came, my student, but the wife was criticizing husband in my presence. My husband could not do anything. I did not like at all. And I could realize that they have though married, but good son, but no happiness, wife criticizing. As against this, I cite another example. 4 or 5 years ago, when I went to Frankfurt, and I was the guest of a devotee, Lipi Bosch. She is from Assam, Shillong, Meghalaya. I was there, their guest, and I came back to Delhi. Then I got the news, unhappy news that, Maharaj, my husband, unfortunately, has lost the job. Something happened, and the husband quarreled with the boss, and in a place like Germany, lost the job. But the wife stood by, Lipi stood by her husband, say that you will get some insurance. I am also earning. We may not have all the comforts when both of us are working, but I will stand by you. Don't lose heart. The next year I get the news, Maharaj, you'll be glad to know, Omio, my husband, has got a job. Again I went there. So this is very, very important. Some may find excessive nervous tension during work, but very little at home due to an understanding wife. Suppose something happens in the wife, and the boss is cross with the subordinate, but if he goes back and finds a sweet, loving, understanding wife who can share the agonies of her husband, there is peace, as it happened in the case of Lipi Bosch of Frankfurt. Well, we need right motivation. Right motivation is an antidote to stress and tension. A person without right motivation is like a ship without a rudder. While talking about right motivation, I feel tempted to refer to what Martin Luther King once said. And I quote Martin Luther King. This has relevance on the topic I am addressing you now. The ultimate measure of a person is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. When challenging situations stare us in the face, the way in which we respond physically and emotionally is the yardstick of a success in dealing with nervous tension. If we can rise to the occasion and meet the situation boldly, that is real success. While talking about facing adverse situation, I am reminded of an incident that happened in the life of the great Swami Vivekananda. As a Paribrajaka, those who are well acquainted with the life of biography of Vivekananda know that he went to Varanasi, Durga Mandir, and he was attacked by a group of monkeys, and Swamiji was retreating. Then one monk shouted to Vivekananda, "Fetch the broth." Swamiji turned back and fetched, and the monkeys took to their heels that incident. Fetch the broths. Swamiji turned back and fetched. Immediately they ran away. Thus challenging situations do come, as life cannot be all sunshine. But we have to meet every challenging situation boldly, being fully conscious of the fact that we have the power to overcome this situation. I also refer to another significant article by one John R. Harvey. He wrote a book, An Overview of Stress and Stress Management. I am now in stage management institution. In it, he has narrated his own experiences. Very briefly, I am telling you, one day, a friend of John Harvey came to his office looking anxious and related to him the medical history of the family. He said that his great-grandfather, who was robust and enjoyed good health, had a heart attack at the age of 78. His grandfather, a self-made man who had his own business and had a heart attack when he was 68. His father was only 58 years old when he had a fatal heart attack. Then he told Harvey with a sigh of resignation, "After all, I think that I won't go beyond 48 because this is our family history. After some moments of silence, he recovered himself and asked, "Well, Mr. Harvey, why is this happening? Why are they dying progressively younger?" There was some silence, more time, and the friend said, "Is there something I can do to prevent such a thing happening to me?" Then Mr. Harvey writes in his article that after listening to his friend, he gave the matter serious thought, reflected deeply, and his suggestion, what he said, is applicable to all of us. He told his friend, "Why do you think that you won't go beyond 48? Why do you indulge in negative thinking? Take up a positive attitude, follow certain disciplines, go according to the mode of life I suggest, and I assure you, you will also live to be as old as your great-grandfather." The friend did as he was told, and he lived a long life. Now, impact of tension to children. If there is no understanding between husband and wife, as I told you about, the busy executive was taken to a doctor, then it will have adverse effect. And so parents have to be extra careful so that they do not subject their children to the trauma of sharing the increasing agitation and worries. Let us now catalog the different causes of tension by considering a series of cases. For example, if the head of a family leads a balanced life, is never agitated, it is sure to have a salutary effect on all the members of the family. But if he leads an agitated life, always fretting, fuming and complaining, there will be no peace in the family. In my book I have mentioned, Maulay Maharaj is here, tension is not restricted to householders alone. I refer the case of a monastic brother, a brahmachari, and the reply he got from a monk. A brahmachari was suffering from tension, and he approached a senior monk. His name was Saswatanandaji. He was the head of a Chennai center, a trustee. "Maharaj, I am under terrible depression." Fortunately, that Swami was an out-and-out Sankarite, a staunch Advaitin. He looked at the brahmachari and gave some Vedantic injection. What did he say? "Oh, you are suffering from mental depression. Now tell me, my boy, are you the mind, are you the body, or you are the eternal spirit?" The young brahmachari got his answer and solution to the problem of stress. He said, "When I do not forget my divine heritage and the higher dimension of life, that I am Atman, that I am neither the body nor the mind nor the sense organs, there is no problem. But when I forget my true nature, come down to the lower plane, identify self, mind and body and the desires of the mind, then I suffer." So what we have to do? Herein comes the need for developing willpower. We all want to lead a meaningful, purposeful life in this world, in this competitive world, and to become successful without becoming victims of any kind of tension. But we find, in spite of our efforts, sincere efforts, we often fail. The ultimate analysis is that though we have no inherent defect, we lack the fundamental virtue of Ichcha Shakti. Often I am asked how a person can develop willpower. Let me now discuss this very important point if we are to be free in this competitive world from tension. Now, what is willpower? What is this Ichcha Shakti? Willpower is that which helps a person to do what he or she knows what is good or right, and avoid those things which our inner voice tells us is wrong and should not be done under any circumstance. Willpower is something positive, creative. For example, we would like to get up early in the morning and we resolve that I am not going to watch any film or video or TV, or that we decide to remain calm under any provocation. Only when we develop willpower, we shall succeed in all these, otherwise we'll fail. And also we should remember, our past failures should not dishearten us. Let me now refer to what happened to Saint Augustine. We have a famous book written by the great Christian monk Saint Augustine, Confessions of Saint Augustine. There was a period in his life when he passed through what may be called the dark night of the soul. He suffered from great conflict. Every day he will say, I make pious resolution, I turn over a new leaf. Oh Lord Jesus, from tomorrow I will be a better person. Let me enjoy this day, let me enjoy the pleasures of the flesh. And he will always sing and sing. Make pious resolution but fail to carry them out. Now then the thought came to him that he should not postpone his effort to the next day. Why not from today? And God gave him tremendous strength, and he did turn over a new leaf. It was possible because of his increase in willpower. So instead of feeling disheartened, we should increase willpower so that our past failures should not be our future failures also. What we need to realize is that there should be a determined effort on our mind. Now, while discussing the efficacy of Ichcha Shakti or willpower, I would like to quote Vivekananda again. In soul-stirring words, Swami Vivekananda once said, and I quote, "Stand up, be bold, know that you are the creator of your own destiny. All the strength and succor you need is within you." It is indeed a very inspiring message. It tells us in no uncertain term that we must have faith in ourselves. I quote Vivekananda again, "All the power and strength you need is within yourself," and we have to be conscious of our divine heritage and believe that we have unlimited power within. We have to tap the source of power within. We are the children of immortal bliss. A question may be asked whether it is possible to develop willpower or Ichcha Shakti overnight. The answer is categorical no, emphatic no. We may have to pass through long periods of tremendous struggle. No success is possible without working hard for it, and there is no joy in achieving success without effort. We may not succeed overnight, but ultimate victory is assured. It is true that in our weaker moments we may feel that we have limitations. This negative attitude often plagues us, but when our willpower is well developed, we have the courage and conviction to change the direction of such negative impulses. The constant tug of war between the evil forces of our lower life and the power of our higher life is an exercise in cultivating strength and conviction. Once Swami Vivekananda, during his first visit to America, he went to America in 1893 to address the first ever held parliaments of religions that you all know. Hardly he would speak about his master Sri Ramakrishna. Only on 2 occasions, being specially requested, Vivekananda did speak on his guru, and as a result we have a famous book Mudio Acharya Dev, or my master. While speaking extempore on his life there, Swamiji said that there are moments when it seems that we are going to enter into the world of light effulgence. But such are the temptations surrounding us. Swamiji used strong language, that down we go once more, eating, drinking and dying. But there are exceptional souls which once roused or hear the inner call, they don't give up the attain till the goal is reached. And there Swamiji said that if God is true, religion is true, life becomes explained, as I told you. And he said, since death is inevitable, what conquest can be nobler than the conquest of the lower self by the higher self? Now there are two fundamental obstacles to the cultivation of willpower. Exaggerated regret about the past. We may have some mistakes, but why unnecessary regret? Or unnecessary worry about the future? Utilize the present. Exaggerated regret about the past or excessive worrying about the future. We should not worry too much about the future or regret overmuch. As the poet said, let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present. Trust no future, however present. To develop willpower, it is essential that we lead a very alert life in the living present. In spite of all these efforts, we may fail. Why? I am mentioning. There may be a number of factors likely to sabotage our efforts to cultivate willpower. I tell our devotees. Now I know that for this talk today, you have issued invitation letters, cards you printed to many in Ahmedabad. And most of you have responded. I know there are arrangements, there are some who cannot get accommodation in this. Why I am referring, I tell the devotees come to be regular to the mission, but they give some excuse. For example, a person decides, I will turn over a new leaf, I will be regular in my visions to the mission visits. I will go to listen to the religious discourses. I must lead a purposeful, meaningful life. But there are persons who have strong willpower, they can all get rid of this. These are some of the circumstances where one must renew one's efforts towards cultivation of willpower. Further, we must chalk out a certain routine to help us develop willpower. A life led in a desultory fashion cannot help us in the person. If we look into the lives of great people, we find that they scrupulously follow a typical routine. So if we want to be free from tension in a competitive world, after proper deliberation, we must draw up a routine. And we should see to it that we strictly adhere to that. Another important point of cultivating willpower is that we must have sufficient reserve of mental energy. There should not be any energy leak. Life is valuable. How much energy we fritter away in useless pursuits, frivolous discussion and all that. We often fritter it away in idle conversation, purposeless work, futile controversies, backbiting, daydreaming, and concern for unnecessary things, sometimes hypothetical fears. All these are detrimental to the development of willpower. And much precious mental energy is also wasted in speaking ill of others. If you are wholeheartedly engaged in the task of our self-improvement, we will have no time to find fault with others. Now, to come back to the main point, the only way to overcome mental tension is to control the mind. Now, to control the mind, we must know the different states of the mind. Now, let us approach this problem from two standpoints, the Eastern and the Western, what our ancient yogis said and what Western psychologists say. Patanjali Munis describe the 5 states of our human mind. First is Kipto, when the mind is extremely restless. Second is Mula, full of inertia. Third is Vikshipto, when the mind is partially concentrated. The fourth state of mind is Ekagrato, when the mind is deeply concentrated. And the last, the ideal state is Niruddha, when the mind is absorbed in super consciousness. Swami Vivekananda, in his famous book Raja Yoga, has coined these 5 states in his own way. Kipto, in the language of Patanjali Muni, restless, Swamiji says, it is the state Swamiji describes it as scattering. The mind is always being scattered in different directions. You sit for meditation, it goes in this direction, that direction. You find it difficult to focus on one point. Mura, Swamiji characterizes as darkening, when the mind is in a state of lethargy, not working or functioning. Vikshipto, when you have outgrown these 2 stages, Kipto and Mura, and you have made some spiritual progress, when you have started gathering the mind, you practice what is called pratyahar. Mind goes to different directions, you bring it back. With some sadhana, we try to gather up the mind. And 4th stage is akagrato. You go on struggling, then you become successful keeping the mind one-pointed. And when the day your meditation becomes successful, you have the satisfaction that I could keep the mind totally concentrated, at least for a few minutes or few seconds. Now, about the causes of development tension, very hurriedly I am telling you that it is one of the reasons of tension, presence of various urges and conflicts among them. We have so many urges, biological urges, that, and if we do not get fulfillment, it gives rise to nervous tension or psychological complexes. Tension also arises due to the presence in us of a wrong view to life. I now refer to Freud, and I will refer to his contemporary Jung. According to the eminent psychologist Freud, in each one of us is a biological urge which creates conflict. Freud, unfortunately, in the beginning, used something which he did not like. He says sex urge. Then good sense dawned on him that this makes something very bad taste. Then he said that, let us say it, pleasure principle. It amounts to the same. According to Freud, there is an element in us called the superego. This superego creates censorship in the mind and prevents the expression of our pleasurable urges. We might want to give expressions, but the superego censors us, and this creates no mean tension in us. Tension also arises due to erroneous understanding of religion. People do not understand. Religion never tells us to suppress all our desire. Religion tells us to sublimate our desire. If we suppress, we will suffer from tension. If we sublimate, we will be saved. Our great rishis talked about 4 purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They will say, holding on to the pillar of righteousness, aiming at moksha or liberation, earn money by legitimate means artha, and there is kama. If you have some desires, get it fulfilled, legitimate desires. So, another important cause of tension is the wrong understanding of life in general. We are born, we grow, and we earn money, and we do not bother about what is to come. A purposeless, meaningless life in a desultory fashion, it will never help us to get rid of tension in this competitive world. Now, while I mentioned about Freud, I feel tempted to refer to his contemporary, Jung. He said, tension is due to the double nature of man. We all have in us, those who are present, masculine and feminine tendencies. What does masculine and feminine tendencies means? To refer to Jung, he means very simple, extrovert and introvert tendencies. You will find in a family there are children by nature quiet, contemplative, introvert, and there are some by nature very, very extrovert. Now, unless there is a harmonious blending of these two tendencies, the extrovert and introvert tendency, to put it the other way about, unless we know how to strike a balance between an active life and contemplation, we will never be free from tension in this competitive world. Let us now speak about three categories of people: type A, type B, type C. Type A people are always under pressure. They are hurried, impatient, ambitious, competitive, and always short of time. Type B people are calm, relaxed, not hurried. They do not easily become victims of impatience or anger. And type C people are hopeless, helpless category. About the wife of my IS ex-student, I told, always complaining. Such people always adopt a negative, pessimistic attitude to life. If we want to be free from tension in a competitive world, let us try to practice the qualities of type B. What are type B? Let me repeat. Calm, relaxed, not hurried. Don't become victims of impatience and anger. So, to overcome tension, we have always to maintain a robust, optimistic frame of life. Another way to overcome tension in the competitive world is to reduce the pace of our work to a comfortable level. Often in this competitive world, we try to achieve too many things in a short space of time. We frame, fruit, and complain. In this way, we dissipate our energies and create, mark the language, energy leaks. A thoroughly organized person does not have energy leak in his makeup. Those who have come of life or running big institutions like our president of this prestigious institute, you'll find they always lead a disciplined life. Working in an unorganized way create tension, which blocks the flow of energy, and our brain cannot work effectively. So we should avoid all kinds of energy leaks by organizing our work properly. Another important guideline is we should always try to avoid negative expressions. Oh, I am tired. Oh, I am worn out. I know that you are very busy. What is the use of giving expression? I am tired. I know that you are tired, but don't use such expressions. Then you should follow the example of the great saint Ramana Maharshi. That means to practice savasana. So I myself practice in the morning after doing my jogging exercise. I lie down on bed. I realize that I realize that I am dead to the outside world. I forget that I am the head of Delhi mission and secretary. Today I am here and I will die and I will be taken to the cremation ground. Why attach too much importance? At least for 1 or 2 minutes, let us all practice savasana. I am in tune with the infinite. I am dead to the outside world. That Ramana Maharshi used to practice, and as a result, the truth dawned on him and he became a realized soul. We should also learn, we should also remember that there are 3 kinds of strain. Swami Ranganathanji Maharaj would always refer to this. He would speak of 3 kinds of balam: bahu balam, mana balam, atma balam. Physical strength we all need. So we should take good exercise, see that we maintain a good health. A weak person cannot achieve anything, even a physically weak person. We must eat with moderation and all that. Mental strength also we need. Our rishis taught us, ojoshi ojomohi dehi, birjam mashi birjam mahi dehi. We need physical strength, we need mental strength, mental alertness, but this will not do. We need another strength, bahubalam, manabalam. Most important is atma balam. As I told you, that every day, at least for a few minutes, I must try to be in communion with my real self, wherein lies the source of tremendous energy, atma balam. Atmanang Viddhi, we heard from our rishis. So there must be some time when we are in tune with our divine self, Atma Balam. And I end by saying the best way to overcome tension in this competitive world by living in our day-to-day life, what may be called Samanvaya Yoga. Now, here is the monogram. Monogram, our mission symbol. We have to practice every day this fourfold sadhana. What is that? You find a coiled serpent. This coiled serpent stands for Raja Yoga. All power is within us in a dormant state. We have to practice psychic control, meditation. As a result of that, the power which lies in us in a coiled serpent is roused up, and as a result we get a vision of the Paramatman. The swan stands for Paramatman, and the sun stands for Jnana Yoga, the rising sun, the path of discrimination, the path of rational analysis. We must know how to discriminate between right and wrong and all that. And watery waves stand for karma yoga. And the lotus stands for devotion or bhakti yoga. The idea is, according to Swami Vivekananda, by harmonizing, by practicing this samanvaya yoga, jnana, karma, bhakti, raja yoga, ultimately we all can become free from tension and live a peaceful, contented life. How a householder can do that? You get up early in the morning, practice some meditation. Either you learn from a spiritual teacher, those who have been initiated, you do it, or from Swami Vivekananda's Raj Yoga introduction. You just close your eyes, try to practice some pranayam. I breathe in purity, I breathe out impurity, I breathe in tranquility, I breathe out tension. I just want to withdraw the mind for some time to the outside world, and just like witness, I get myself detached from all that is happening. I am in my own self. You have to visualize that. Some kind of meditation, that is Raja Yoga. Jnana Yoga, unless we practice discrimination, we are likely to be swept off our feet. Something happens and we become victims of impatience or excitement. Therein lies the importance of Jnana Yoga. We every day, whatever decision we take, weighing pros and cons, we have to take, that is Jnana Yoga. Bhakti Yoga does not mean only plucking flowers, going to the temple. Bhakti Yoga also means that whatever we are asked to do or to do, let us do with deep love and devotion. That is Bhakti Yoga. And karma, ma phaleshu kadachan, we'll try our utmost to do, but be detached. With a spirit of detached, we have to work. So morning I get up, become like a Raja Yogi, little meditation. I get some spiritual energy. Either I'm a householder or administrator or teacher or doctor. Then I do my duties. And while do my duties, let us do it with devotion, bhakti yoga. Let us not lose sight of our vichar, jnana yoga. And karma, I'm doing in a period of detachment. And when you go to bed, that I try to live the life of a samanvaya yogi. You just surrender the fruits of your activities to the Lord within and pray that if you have felt, suppose you got excited or you could not meditate, you pray, oh Lord, I could not do, but let me do it tomorrow. In this way, a householder also, he begins his day with little meditation and ends when you retire to bed. I am sure that with the blessings of Swami Vivekananda, if you put this into practice, you will be free from tension. May Swami Vivekananda bless us all. Thank you.
I think we have 5 minutes for the question and answer. Few questions we can take if you have. Yeah, go ahead.
Very inspiring speech. I'd like to know how to control anger. Control anger.
Well, as I told you, first of all, is all right? First of all, in reply to your question, everybody who becomes a victim of anger regrets, I should not have been angry. So first this resolution, I give one example, classic example, which comes spontaneously to my mind. As a brahmachari, not this Gerua cloth, when I was in Belur College, I used to go to the then president of the order, His Holiness Swami Shankaranandaji. Now Shankaranandaji Maharaj had his sevak, attendant. He was very close to the President Maharaj. Every day he would do his seva. It was very unfortunate that he did not like my coming to his guru. One day I went to President Maharaj and President Maharaj loved me. When I came out of President Maharaj's room in Belur Math, though he was a brahmachari, he became a victim of anger and shouted at me and said, from tomorrow I am the main sevak of President Maharaj. Without my permission, don't enter President Maharaj's room. 1 minute before, I got spiritual bliss from President Maharaj. When I came out of the room, the sevak shouted at me, scolded me, abused me. Naturally, he was under the influence of anger. I felt very bad heart. I used to go to Belur Math every day, Vidya Mandir, Belur Math, very near, 5 minutes walking. Next day, I went to Belur Math and I found that Brahmachari Maharaj, who hurt me, abused me, at a distance, he was coming from there. My first reaction was, oh, you insulted me, you behaved in a rude way, I have nothing to do with you. I will also not talk to you. But good sense prevailed. No, let me behave in a normal way. Let us see the reaction. He was coming because he was guilty. He did not behave properly with me. So when he came very near, his name was Nonigopal Maharaj. And brother Nonigopal Maharaj, he broke down. Bhai, Dada, I insulted you, please excuse me. I still remember. Had I reacted in the same way, he is no more. He died in Uttarakhand. He was the main pujari. But that saved me. You understand? And he broke down. So the best is, first of all, energy leak. Suppose I become angry. I dissolve it. No. Every time becoming victim of no. You have to practice. So Suppose 5 times a day I reduce 4 times, and one day you will become freer. Practice, practice. Remedy is practice. Thank you.
But don't you feel little anger gives efficiency?
No, anger will never give efficiency. Never.
Little anger, not
No.
During the initial stage of improving willpower, we sometimes lose the sense of during heavy stress of the work of the family, society, friends and relatives. We are not able to perform as a common person and feeling inferiority occurs. If this situation, what should we do? The problem of initial, making willpower little stronger. During that process,
You see, from my experience, I can tell you, the gentleman who has put this question, Nilesh Jadhav, were not able to perform as a common person of feeling in pain. You see, to be very frank, there is no shortcut. I admit first. Life is not all sunshine. We all become victims one day, overnight. So, we have to practice. I realize, but as Swamiji said, that one day I will not be able, I will suffer from that. Practice, and that will help us. Is the answer. Next one.
no, this is just appreciation of us. Which and he would like to interact more with you, but
But
what
it is-
way we can do it, he would like
I also tell you that if you, first of all, I will advise that you can have we have brought books, number of books. So if you read these books, make note of it and follow and practice, I am sure not only you will be benefited, and sometimes you give some gifts to some people. You will do well from now to present this book. Very important guidelines are given for all of us, for sadhus, for householders. And if you can write to me and you can note down my email, Gokulananda, simple, Gokulananda@hotmail.com.
That's very easy.
Gokulananda hotmail.com. Swamiji, you came to our institute and gave a talk. I have some questions. I assure you, I promise you, immediately you will get the reply. That is my habit. And if you happen to come to Delhi, please pay a visit to us. You are all welcome to see what we are doing in Delhi. And I will go back to tonight. I am going to Rajkot. I will be reaching there at about 12 midnight. But I will carry with me sweet memories of the 1 or 2 hours I spent with you. Thank you.
Friends, I'll just take 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that was really an inspiring, enlightening, and shall I also say, a stress-relieving talk by Swami Gokulananda. Swamiji, we are indeed very thankful to you from coming to Delhi and addressing the citizens of Ahmedabad, AMA members and other citizens also. In the past, AMA has been blessed with the presence of so many enlightened people, so many spiritual people like you. And from Ramakrishna Mission particularly, we are lucky to have Swami Nikhileshwaranji and Swami Chitadmananji from the Ramakrishna Mission, Rajkot. We are also very thankful to Swami Dhruveshananji of Ramakrishna Mission Rajkot, is the president of Ramakrishna Mission Rajkot, to arrange this talk today, and also from the friends of Ramakrishna Center, Vastrapur, Ahmedabad, Neha Ben and her colleagues, so to arrange this talk. Friends, before we end, I'll request Rajiv Vastupal, our president, to present a shawl to Swamiji. Friends, thank you for attending in large numbers, and I wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.